is that I have a voice. I care about the issues. I'm going to attack them. I'm going to address the issues that need to be addressed, no matter how I feel on other side of the aisle. I'm an independent. I'm going to say what I feel. I'm going to speak my mind, and I'm not going to run from anybody. So it doesn't even matter running from office. I'm not going to run from them.
Welcome back to the channel. And trust me, today's video is a wild one. We've got a fiery debate between Sean Hannity from Fox News and none other than Stephen A. Smith. And let me tell you, it gets heated. Hannity brings the pressure, hits Stephen A. with everything he's got, and pushes him so hard that Stephen A. actually ends up talking about running for president in 2028. Yeah, it gets that real. So let's break it all down and watch how Hannity flips the script and puts Stephen A. on defense.
Here with more ESPN host, our good old friend Stephen A. Smith. What do you mean you have no choice? You have a choice. You don't have to get involved in politics. You can be a commentator. You can get into the political arena. You can give your opinions. You can try to impact policy. You don't have to run for president to do that. So you have a choice. Why do you say you have no choice?
I didn't make an announcement. Because I didn't make an announcement that I'm running. I made an announcement that
I have no choice but to do this.
Excuse me, don't answer a question and interrupt me before I even get a chance to answer your question. To answer your question. To answer your question directly, yeah, sure, I got a choice. But at the end of the day, here's what it comes down to, Sean. You're absolutely right. I am a pundit. I am a commentator. I am a journalist by trade and what have you. These are the things that I care about, and I care about having a voice, and I care about making an impact and making a difference, especially when it comes to what's in the best interest of the United States of America. There's no question about that. The other side to it, however, is that I've had folks coming up to me, like I said, elected officials and others, including my own pastor, A.R. Bernard from the Christian Cultural Center here in Brooklyn, New York, who looked at me and said, hey, show respect to people who believe in you and respect you and believe that you could do good for this country by at least leaving the door open. You never know what God has planned for you. That's years down the road.
I've been told the same thing.
Stop saying no, no, no. And that's all I said. That's all.
So I watched this poll come out, and I did give you some of my thoughts on it. I have more to share with you.
Yeah.
I don't believe that poll. That's my gut instinct. I think there's probably, I would say, you know, the first poll that came out had you at 7%. Maybe you're at 5, 6, 7%. Do I think that the party that is now led by AOC and Bernie Sanders and Jasmine Crockett and the radical left would ever accept you or want your input or go along with your... That's my point.
I believe, I don't believe, do I believe that people would have a conversation with me and get my perspective on things? Sure. Do I believe they would ever really, really support me, meaning those that have been entrenched within the Democratic Party now and for the last several years? Absolutely, positively not. I saw the poll. Listen, I'm not an expert in this, but I've been following politics for a very, very long time. We understand what comes with the process, particularly if you're a Democratic nominee. The superdelegates got to approve for you. You got to get a whole bunch of supports from all over the place for you to even be the nominee. And you know people are going to stand in your way. Look at what happened. I mean, you can look at Andrew Cuomo. You can look at Al Franken. You can look at a lot of different things. And at least on the left, what they say is that they eat their own, especially when they don't like you. So they don't know me. The chances are they don't like me. You got people that's craving to go on. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
In the third term of Andrew Cuomo, who took out Andrew Cuomo? Do you think it was the Republicans in New York? Or do you think it was the Democrats? Because maybe...
Let me tell you something. Stephen A. Smith is one of the greatest commentators in television, no doubt. But if you watched that interview closely, you saw it. That smile, barely holding together. He's trying to stay humble, trying not to say too much. But you can tell deep down, Stephen A. wants to run for president. He's just playing it smart so he doesn't get hated on by both sides. During the interview, he spoke with real passion, said he's not a politician, but he's being encouraged by pastors, voters, and even elected officials to keep the door open. And while he doesn't think the far left would ever back him, he made it clear he cares about this country and he wants to make an impact. Even Hannity agreed on something big, that Democrats have a habit of eating their own, just like they did with Andrew Cuomo. This wasn't your average interview. It was a raw, unfiltered moment between two heavy hitters. And if you ask me, Stephen A. just tested the waters for 2028.
It's a threat to them because they thought he had political aspirations.
Well, they thought that he was in line to fight for the presidency, fight for the Democratic nomination, and at least on the left, that's even those folks speculate about it. But in the end, here's what it comes down to: poll comes out about 2 months ago or so. I'm at around 7.5% or whatever. Ever since then, I've been in the news ad nauseum every single damn day, and suddenly I'm at 1%. I don't believe that for 1 second. That's not how this works. No, but what I'm saying to you is this: at the end,
gasoline on the fire.
Listen,
come on.
Listen, I'm not putting gasoline on anything. I'm just not running. And what I mean by that is that I have a voice. I care about the issues. I'm going to attack them. I'm going to address the issues that need to be addressed, no matter how I feel on other side of the aisle. I'm an independent. I'm going to say what I feel. I'm going to speak my mind, and I'm not going to run from anybody. So it doesn't even matter running from office. I'm not going to run from them.
You're not talking about being an independent. Well, listen, you're talking about trying to change your party. Your party's a Democratic Party, and you're trying to, have it both ways. You want to either you're an independent or you're a Democrat.
Well, that's what y'all say. That's what people like you say. That's what your politicians say. There's a whole bunch of American citizens out there that don't want anything to do with the fringes. That whether you're center left or center right, they want common sense, man. They want to listen to people that have common sense.
Do you align?
I'm telling you who I am.
The Democratic Party or the Republican Party, or are you more independent?
I'm more independent. But the reality is, what's the chances of an independent winning a general election? Slim to none.
I could see the Democrats.
You know this better than me.
You talked about billionaires and
Aight, this is where it really starts heating up. So Hannity, he turns up the pressure. He starts going in on Stephen A, pressing him hard. And you can see it. Stephen A starts tripping over his words a bit, getting flustered, trying to keep it together. But bro, the tension, you feel it. Hannity calls him out, like, yo, you say you're independent, but you're still in bed with the Democrats. So which is it? And Stephen A, he claps back. He's like, nah, man, that's just how y'all try to spin it. I speak for the people in the middle, the ones sick of all the political BS. And then, here's the part that hit me. Stephen A admits it straight up. Independents don't win general elections. The system's not made for that. And he knows it. That's when it stopped feeling like a TV debate and started feeling real. No sound bites, no dodge. Just two dudes going at it on how broken this whole game really is.
That led to the greatest national security threat in our history, with wide open borders and 12 million unvetted illegals, including known terrorists, murderers, rapists, cartel members, gang members. Do you want to be part of a party that systemically lied about Joe Biden's cognitive health? That lied about the economy? Do you want to be part of a party?
Here we go.
Do you want to be part of a party that cares more about the rights of men to play women's sports, the rights of illegals, over the safety of Americans? I have Rachel Morin's mother on this program tonight. Do you want to be part of a party that thinks it's a constitutional crisis if, in fact, you eliminate waste, fraud, and abuse? Is that what you believe? Because I don't think you do.
No, I do not, okay? And I spoke adamantly against some of those things that you articulated on my own show and on this show, along with various other shows. But let me tell you what I do want to be a part of. I want to be a part of a party and a part of an American society that looks at those actions that you just chronicled and says, that has no business in the United States of America. We can do better. Let's exercise common sense and decency. Let's understand that even when we look at the right, every damn thing ain't wrong about what Trump do. You might have a problem with how he's going about with the tariffs, but his position about the tariffs isn't totally wrong. Guess what? The border is better since he's been in office, because we no longer have open borders. But we could still look at him and say, you know what? With Obrego, the bottom line is this: immigration, a judge ruled for protection for the kid, and the Supreme Court voted 9-0 in order for him to be here. Go back.
Something real interesting has been happening lately. Some of the most loyal Democrats are starting to agree with Trump. First, it was Whoopi Goldberg, someone who's been beefing with Trump for years, saying she actually agreed with him on certain things. Now, we're seeing Stephen A. Smith do the same, and it all came out during this fiery interview with Sean Hannity. Hannity didn't hold back. He hit Stephen A. with some tough questions, like, do you really want to be part of a party more focused on letting biological men compete in women's sports, or protecting illegal immigrants over American safety? That's some real hot button stuff. And honestly, it hit hard, but Stephen A stood his ground. He said it flat out. I don't support that. He said he's been calling out that kind of stuff on his own show, and then he flipped it on its head. He said he's not about playing party games. He's about common sense, decency, and calling out the extremes on both sides. And here's where it got real. Stephen A admitted not everything Trump did was wrong. He even said, the border is better now. We don't have open borders like before. That's coming from a guy who's never supported Trump. That's not a small statement. That's a shift in the conversation. He's not excusing Trump's attitude, but he's saying what a lot of folks are thinking. The policy, sometimes it makes sense.
And not for you. They're not really there for you. I think some may sincerely be there. But at the end of the day, do you want to be part of a party that led to the greatest national security threat in our history with wide open borders and 12 million unvetted illegals, including known terrorists, murderers, rapists, cartel members, gang members? Do you want to be part of a party that systemically lied about Joe Biden's cognitive health, that lied about the economy? Do you want to be part of a party?
Here we go.
Do you want to be part of a party that cares more about the rights of men to play women's sports, the rights of illegals over the safety of Americans? I have Rachel Morin's mother on this program tonight. Do you want to be part of a party that thinks it's a constitutional crisis if, in fact, you eliminate waste, fraud, and abuse? Is that what you believe? Because I don't think you do.
No, I do not. Okay. And I spoke adamantly against some of those things that you articulated on my own show and on this show, along with various other shows. But let me tell you what I do want to be a part of. I want to be a part of a party and a part of an American society that looks at those actions that you just chronicled and says that has no business in the United States of America. We can do better. Let's exercise common sense and decency. Let's understand that even when we look at the right, every damn thing ain't wrong about what Trump do. You might have a problem with how he's going about with the tariffs, but his position about the tariffs isn't totally wrong. Guess what? The border is better since he's been in office because we no longer have open borders, but we can still look at him and say, you know what? With Obrego, the bottom line is this. Immigration, a judge ruled for protection for the kid, and the Supreme Court voted 9-0 in order for him to be here. Go back and get him from El Salvador. We can agree on some things, we can disagree on some things, but in the end, it's about a core decency that we are devoid of right now in our politics. I hope somebody from the Democratic Party steps up. I hope I light a fire under them and get a more qualified individual in this mix so people can stop asking me this stuff and I can enjoy my life. But if it continues to get worse, all hands on deck. All of us should consider running for crying out loud rather than dealing with this nonsense.
I get it. All right, let me ask you this. Do you believe in the environmental policies, climate alarmism, Green New Deal policies? Do you agree with the DEI agenda of the Democratic Party? Do you support woke in America, transgenderism? Do you think one tax dollar should ever go to...
It's not as finite as you try to make it.
One tax dollar ever go into any of those programs, especially abroad? Why are we giving a penny to Harvard University when they have a $50 billion endowment? Help me with that.
I don't know the answer to that question. But what if I find out that there's a pretty decent answer for that question? I don't know the answer to that question. When you bring up Harvard, you would think with an endowment like that they wouldn't do it. But why has this federal government spent years giving it? Maybe it's because they make a contribution to the American fabric that you're not articulating on this particular show. We don't know the answer to that question. And just like you ask questions about the left, I can ask questions about the right too. Let's just be fair about it. Everything. We don't have to agree on everything.
Why are we paying for an Ivy League elitist institution when maybe we could be shoring up community colleges, trade schools, so we can be helping the children of the hardworking men and women that don't have an opportunity to ever think about an elite private school like that? I'll give you the last word.
Okay, that's a fair question, and let's hope Trump, the president of the United States, has a big time answer for that. I get that part. I understand what you're saying. As a common American citizen, you look at your frustration. Excuse me, he's cutting them off. But why? But why? The intent matters. How you go about doing things matter. All of those things come into consideration.
These
I understand
that. We can't be paying these Ivy school brats tuition. If they want to go to an Ivy League school, get the money yourself, get it from mommy or daddy, or go to work, save up, and then go pay for it yourself. How's that?
And when did you come to this conclusion? When did you start saying this? Were you saying this before when Obama was in office? Because I'd love for you to interview him and ask him that question. I'm asking. I'm not accusing you of not saying it. I'm asking.
What question?
Ask Obama.
Ask who what question?
Ask a Harvard student. Ask Barack Obama that question. He spoke adamantly of this.
I didn't get I took out a student loan. I paid back every single penny of it. I paid for all my college myself. Checkmate.
So did I.
Boom.
You ain't the only one that did that. You're not the only one that did that. I did that as well. But what if that particular student from Harvard has an ability to make a major contribution to our society? We got to entertain that. Scholarships are given out all the time by everybody.
As you evolve politically, you are going to find you are more in agreement with things that I believe in and the values that I believe in than the values of this party that you feel compelled and have no other choice to align yourself with, because you do have a choice.
Let me tell you something.
Hannity asks the real question. Why are we giving a single penny to Harvard when they've got a $50 billion endowment? And honestly, I fully agree. Instead of funneling tax dollars into elite Ivy League institutions, we should be putting that money into community colleges and trade schools, places where real working class kids can actually learn something that leads to a job. And let's be real, back in the day, like before the late 70s, you could graduate high school with a full-on trade, plumbing, electrical, mechanics. You were set up to work, make money, and provide. Now, everything's about college debt and useless degrees. Stephen A. admits he doesn't know why Harvard still gets that money. He says maybe there's a reason, something behind the scenes. Give me a break. What is it really? Besides some fat cat getting fatter while the rest of the country struggles to pay rent. Then Hannity closes by saying something bold, that as Stephen A. evolves politically, he's gonna find himself agreeing more and more with conservative values. And hey, if this conversation showed us anything, it's that he already kind of is, whether he admits it or not. If you like this video, do me a favor. Smash that like button and hit subscribe to stay locked in. Got something you want me to cover next? Drop it in the comments below. I'm always checking, and I want to hear what y'all think.